So I thought today we'd kickstart off Vlogmas by doing a wrap-up of all the books that I've been reading currently, okay? I did a wrap-up. I'll put up the January and February one up here, and then I'll put up the January, February, March, and April one up here, right? And then I'll also put them in my description box. But I haven't done a wrap-up since then. Life has been hard, okay? Since June, my life kind of took a turn for the worst. So my reading, it's been all over the place. And then I tried reading, but I got into a slump. So it's been really hard. So yes, so I'm going to be doing a wrap up of May, June, July, August, September, October. So that's 6 months worth of wrap up, and I only read about 10 books in that 6 months. Shocking, I know. But yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so I think I'm going to do it a little differently to how I did the previous two. I did those ones according to how I read the books, but because everything is just a bit of a mashup, I'll just start off with the books that I DNF'd these past 6 months, okay? And some of them they're still kind of on hold, but I will do like a final DNF, probably post it probably around the end of the year or probably the beginning of the following year. But let's get into our DNFs, okay, because I have a few. The first one that I DNF'd was Unexpected Pass by A. Blossom. Um, I honestly cannot even remember what this book was about, but I think I was bored while reading this book. I was honestly bored while reading this book. I didn't care for what was going on in the book, and I just DNF'd it really quickly, and that's it. And then the next one is Blackwood's Blue Skies, and I'll put the name up here, it's really hard for me. Eowyn Ivy. Um, this book was meant to be a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, okay? And I was so excited to read this book. I thought it was gonna be like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It was gonna be a fun time, but it wasn't giving that. And I tried to keep going, and I kept going, and I kept going. I think I DNF'd it like 30%, somewhere along between 30 and 40%. And I just, at that point, I couldn't any longer. And I really did try. I thought it was going to be like a simple, cutesy romance, but it was giving fantasy. It was giving like a romantic fantasy, and it was also kind of giving the twist, like the plot in Beauty and the Beast, and like the ending of Beauty and the Beast. This one wasn't going to give that, and so I kind of just DNF'd it because I was like, it's gonna ruin Beauty and the Beast for me. We can't have that, okay? Because I absolutely love Beauty and the Beast, so I DNF'd it. And then I read Girl 11 by Amy Suter Clark, and I thought this thriller was going to be giving all the fun vibes, right? It's about a thriller where a man unalives a child, and each time he unalives a child, he goes a year up and a year up and a year up. And somehow, or does he go a year lower? I think he goes a year lower. And somehow, when he gets to girl 12, things go wrong. And then he just disappears, and I think they find him and he gets arrested or something along those lines. It was months ago, but that the premise is something similar to that, and I couldn't get with it. Was a dual, it was like mixed media, and there was like a podcast element to it, and I thought that would be super fun, but I couldn't get with what was going on with the podcast element, and I just, because I didn't understand the dialogue and the way in which things were written and the way in which things were explained during that, it took me out of the book. I feel like with mixed media, it has to be done a certain way for me to understand it, else it completely takes me out of the book, out of the story. And I think that's what happened with this one. I was really eager to read it. I think maybe I might try and like start it from the beginning, like all over again at some point in my life, because I really do want to read that one. But for now, The next one that I DNF'd was Mile High by Liz Tomford, and I wanted to read these books so badly. And I know that apparently this one, a lot of people find this one to be the one that they least like, right? But this one was the one, the MMC was black, the FMC was black, and this was the only book in the entire, what do they call it? The ones where then what is the series called? It was the only book in the entire series where they were both black, right? The next one, the guy is black and the girl is white, and then after that they're just all white, which I don't have a problem with at all, but I just felt like this one was kind of boring and I didn't want to have to fight through it to get to the other books. And I just DNF'd it, honestly, because I didn't like it. But there are people that say that this one is equally as good as the others. But I've also heard reviews where they're like, this one's the least liked one, and then they get better as you go. These books are like 500 plus pages. I'm not doing that to myself. So, yeah. And then the next one that I DNF'd was Hostage by Claire McIntosh, and this book is about a woman who is, what is she, a flight attendant, and she gets on a plane and things just start going south on the plane and her kid, and I just didn't see where the story was going. I didn't think I was going to be interested in any part of the story. I'll also just note down at which point I DNF'd this one, but I kind of found it boring. And then they started the passengers on the plane started having chapters. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep up with all of these people, because how is every single one of them going to be significant to the story? And I couldn't, so I stopped. And then the last one that I'm going to talk about is Two Reasons to Lie by Colleen Coble. I read the first book in this series and I liked it, okay? I liked it enough. I'm going to have a Reading Christian thriller books vlog coming up. I'm done with the vlog. I'm just been editing it, but I'm going to have that one up soon. Probably not before this one, but I will put it in the description box as soon as it's up. But yeah, so I read that one and I liked it. I wasn't vibing with this one for multiple different reasons, honestly, that I won't get into right now. Maybe just watch the vlog, and yeah. Okay, so I have a reread, okay? I read this book last year and I reread it this year, and okay, I bumped this book up to 5 stars. Last year I gave it a 4.5. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on with me. But I reread it this year and I kind of want to reread it again now, like twice in 1 year. This would probably be my third time reading it. I'm gonna hold off on doing that because what sorcery is that, okay? And this book is What a Match by Mimi Grace. This book is about, my brother's best friend romance, right? And so this woman, her brother's best friend needs a place to stay, and the brother is like, why don't you just go and stay with my sister? She has a room, okay? You'll just kind of just like stay on her couch, I guess. She has like a pull-out couch and you can just stay there, because he was renovating his house and he couldn't have his friend stay over there with him and his girlfriend. So he was like, just go and stay with my sister for a while. And then obviously a romance occurs, and it is the cutest book ever. I absolutely love this book. This book is the second book in a series. I read the first one that was with the brother, and I liked that one. I liked it, but I absolutely loved this one. This one is like, I loved this one, okay? So that was my one and only reread, I think. Yes, it's my one and only reread that I actually managed to finish. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the 10 books that I read in the past 6 months. Yes, 6 months. The first one is Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan, and I gave this book 4.75. Okay, this book is about a woman who, I think I have a short on this book, and I will put that short in the description box down below. I have so many things that I'm saying I'm gonna put in the description box, and I'll probably just forget. But yeah, so this book is about a screenwriter she she writes for on screen. So this book is about a screenwriter, and she gets asked to write a story for a she writes a story and it gets picked up by a film, right? And so they're like, we kind of want to come and film in your house and just have the whole ambiance there. And she basically wrote the story kind of like based off of her real life. And so she allows them to come in and film, and when it's time for them to leave, the the actor who plays her husband is like, I kind of don't want to leave, can I just stay here for a couple of days, I'll pay you, and I'm just going through midlife crisis. And so she lets him stay there, and things just blossom from there. It's a cute book. She has like 2 kids, which I found to be very cute. And she's also like, I feel like I read so many books where the people are just young, but she wasn't young at all, and I appreciated that. And yeah, I gave this one 4.75. I loved it. The next one is I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney, and this book gave me whiplash. First of all, I wasn't enjoying my time reading this book. I just had to finish it because I want to do an Alice Feeney ranking. I just have one more book from her to read. But this book, it gave me whiplash towards the end, okay? I wasn't having a good time reading this book. The whiplash wasn't even good whiplash. It was kind of like, it was disturbing, honey. And I can't even describe what this book is about. This book is about an actress, and somebody is basically like, girl, I know who you are. I know what you did. And she's kind of like being threatened, per se, kind of like. And so it just goes from there. I feel like you should just walk into the sun blind, because the things that go on here, it's just like, what? Uh, um, I hear a lot of people say there's like animal cruelty in it. Can't remember. I mean, I can, but it wasn't that bad. But I'm also not an animal person, so I guess the trigger warnings for that one is that there's animal cruelty in it. But I mean, that's not the worst thing that happens in that book. But yeah, there's child cruelty as well. Okay, that I can, there's definitely child cruelty, and that kind of just, it upset me. That was what upset me. The animal cruelty, not so much. Like, it's not that major. But yeah, I just thought I'd put it out there. Next one is, I think I gave this one 2.5. I don't know if I mentioned it. The next one is If the Ring Fits by Camilla Isley. And this book is about a woman who, what does she do? Honestly, she finds herself in a little bit of like trouble, I guess. And then she has like an arranged marriage with a guy that she met in the toilet. And they kind of decide, let's just get married, and I'll just pretend like I have a wife to get a position, a position at work, because like my boss kind of like wants to see that I can, I'm diverse in that way. And so let's just get married. It would benefit the both of us. I have money, you need money and a place to stay, so let's get married. Basically that's it. I thought it was cute. It's like an age gap romance, and I didn't find it to be cringy at all. I usually find those to be a little bit cringy. There's like an age difference, because he's in like his 30s and she's in like her 20s, like roughly like a 10 to 12 year age gap, and it was okay. It wasn't that bad. The book was cute. It was fun vibes, honestly. I gave this one a 3.75, and I don't have much else to say about it. And the next book is The Other Misses by Mary Kubica. I liked this book. Okay, this is about a woman who, she's basically just living her life with her family, and then there's like another woman who has something against this woman who's living her life with her family, and we just kind of just take it from there. Her and her family move into this new home, and somehow this woman kind of ends up just showing up wherever the woman is a doctor, so somehow this other woman always just ends up wherever she's at and just causing trouble. And yeah, I think that's basically all that I can say about it, honestly. This book was fun times. It was a vibe. It was a thriller book, and Did I find it to be all that thrilling? Maybe not. There were some times where I found it to be a little bit slow and it dragged a little bit, and I was like, can we keep on moving? Can we get to the point a little bit quicker? But I did really enjoy reading it, and I gave this one a 3.75. So I guess I really did enjoy it because I gave it a 3.75. The next one was The Final Scene by Steph Nelson, and this book. So a woman gets kidnapped, and the kidnapper basically makes her act out like this, as like they make her act out like a scene, like she's an actress, but she's getting kidnapped to like play a character, so they can just watch her pretend to play a certain character. And that's basically what happens. And then this is I think, I guess, just your journey on how her life has been since she's been kidnapped, and what the things that they make her do. And I thought this one was fun times. I honestly thought it was fun times. I did give this one a 3.75 as well, because although I did enjoy reading it, there wasn't much to it. Honestly, it wasn't very, like, it was a thriller book, but it was a cutesy one, and there's like a little bit of a romance there. And I feel like with thriller books, the romance kind of has to pack a punch, and this one, it was cute. I mean, it was cute, right? So yeah, gave it a 3.75. I was on a roll there for a second. I was just giving books 3.75 left, right, and center, okay? But yeah, don't mind me, okay? I'm looking at my trusted here, okay? And I'm just looking at my ratings and things like that. The next one is The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark, and when I tell you, I was so happy. This book was amazing, okay? I gave this book a 5 stars. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I was having a time with this book, okay? It did kind of get me a little bit emotional, because you know when you read a book and you just think about the lives that the characters in the book never got to live, because you go through them in their teenage years, right? And the things that they never got to say to their loved ones, it was just a little bit sad in that aspect. And the people that are left behind when those people are gone, it's just young lives lost, basically. So it was a little bit emotional for me. I don't think I cried, but it did. I did cry, not a lot, but I did cry a little bit. And I just cried because of the young lives that were lost. So this is a book about a woman whom her dad asks her to basically write his autobiography of his life, right? And the dad was accused of unaliving his siblings when they were like teenagers, right? So he was accused of unaliving his siblings. He was never found guilty, but everyone just assumed it was him. And so yeah, so he later went on to become like a best-selling horror writer. And so now he's finally ready to tell his story, and he wants his daughter, who's also a writer, but I think she writes a different genre. But he wants his daughter, who's also a writer, to basically just write what actually happened on that fateful night when his elder brother and his younger sister were unalived. So yes, I love this book so, so, so much. I need a physical copy of it. I do not have a physical copy of it. I do need a physical copy of it, and I'll probably be rereading it again next year, because I really did love this book a lot. My sister, the serial unaliver, okay? I will write down her name and her surname here in case I butcher it. I know I'm gonna butcher it. So, oh, man. Like, did we read the same book? Because why does everybody and their mother love this book? I am literally the only person who doesn't. Because what was I reading? Honestly, truly, what was I reading? First of all, why are all the characters half-wits? Make me understand that. Secondly, these characters had no personalities. I understand the book was on the shorter side. They had no personalities. They had no redeeming qualities. They basically had no qualities whatsoever. The one that says my sister, the serial unaliver, she was just a mean girl. And I think she was mean because she was ugly. Because they kept emphasizing on how ugly she was and how beautiful her sister was, who just analyzes men for fun, right? Cool. But then you get to the sister who's the unaliver, and the only thing you know about her, the only thing I knew about her, the only thing I ever found out about her throughout the book was that she unalives men for fun, and that she gets away with it, honestly, because she's just that pretty. And thirdly, she was pretty. That's all I knew about her. She, like, there wasn't even a time where they could say that she was like sweet, or that she loved her sister, or she treated her sister nicely. No, she was just pretty, and she just unalived men for fun, and she took delight in doing it, and it was just fun times for her. To her, it was just nothing. It was like, crushing an ant, like, I guess, I don't know, like, I don't know. There was literally nothing about every single person in this book were half-wits. Like, I cannot even begin to explain to you how everybody they just let everything just slide. The storyline itself was very lackluster. There was nothing much to the storyline. The writing, I can get over the fact that I think it was written in a, I wouldn't say badly, but it was written in a way that I don't quite understand. And it felt like the writing was all over the place for me. The writing itself wasn't bad, but it did feel all over the place, and it was different for me. I could get over it being different had the book not been so bad. I don't have to bash it any further, honestly, but I gave this book 1 star, and I only finished it because it was short. I wanted to DNF it the entire time. At no point in this book was I having a good time. Let me stop bashing this book, because honestly, I did not like it at all. Okay, My Darlings by Mary Still. And I love this one as well. This is about a woman who, she is a serial unaliver, okay? We support women's wrongs and their rights. We support women's rights and their wrongs. I think that's how the saying goes. She's a serial unaliver, and she was fun. I loved her. She was fun. Basically, she just analyzes people because she can. She unalives women, though. That's not good. But she does. She analyzes women because she can. And that's all you need to know, really. Fun times. Just fun vibes. And I love this book so much, I gave it 5 stars. And then the next one that I read was One Little Lie by Colleen Coble. And like I said, this one is the first book in the series. I DNF'd the second one that I mentioned earlier on, but I really did like this one. It's like a police procedural. It's meant to be like a Christian thriller, because there's definitely Christian-esque elements into it. The problem was the Christian-esque elements lost me in the second book. In the first book, I was vibing with it. I was liking it. In the second book, I don't know. But let's talk about this one. In this book, so this is about a woman who, she's a detective, and so she works on a case. I honestly couldn't tell you what the case that she's working on is, because the case was kind of not very interesting, for lack of a better word. Everything else about the book was interesting, just the case that she works on the entire book could not very interesting. And then there is a guy who is a, what do you call him? He writes like documentaries where he just goes to places and does documentaries on those areas. So he goes and he visits like her hometown, and he wants to do a documentary on, I couldn't tell you what, but he wants to do a documentary in her hometown, and they just end up working on the case together, I think. And yeah. And I gave this one a 3.75 as well. And I think, honestly, I could have given it like a 3.5. But because of like the Christian-esque elements to it that I was vibing with, that I was loving, I bumped it up slightly. But the book was okay. The book was just fine for me personally. And then the last book that I read was Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, okay? Not read, but like read and finished. After that, I just went on like a long thing of just starting books and not finishing them. I haven't DNF'd them yet, but I have a few books, probably like 4 to 5 books that I've started with since finishing this one that I'm in the process of reading. So yeah. But Like a Rideau by Riley Sager, and I started this book a while ago because I do want to get through Riley Sager's books as well. This one was the last one that I had to. What am I saying? No, I have a few more that I need to read by Riley Sager, honestly. But yeah, so I'm just kind of trying to get through Riley Sager's backlog, and Like Every Door was one that everybody loved, everybody swore by, and I did not get the hype, unfortunately. It's about a woman who gets asked to like house sit for like this really fancy apartment in like this really fancy hotel residential area, residential whatever, a block of townhouses, I guess, or something. So she gets asked to house sit, and she gets given like a bunch of rules on what to do and what not to do, and I found it a little bit boring. I'm sorry. I found this book a little bit boring. I couldn't wait for it to be over because it was going nowhere for me. I gave it, I think, a 3.25, and that's because I didn't think it was that bad. But honestly, I could take it down to a 3 because I did kind of find this book a little bit to be boring, honestly. Um, yeah, that's it. That this is from the month of September, March, April, May, all the way through to September because I did not read a single book in the month of October, okay? And yeah, tough times are lasting, like I said. But yes, I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this video. I hope you guys will let me know which books you guys have been reading, which books you guys have been loving, and leave me like a book emoji if you made it through